What did your bully do that changed how you saw them forever? His name was Ethan, and for 3 years of high school, he made my existence a living hell. It started with the little things, snide comments about my secondhand clothes, the way he'd knock my books out of my hands or accidentally trip me in the hallway. By sophomore year, it evolved into something more systematic. He had a talent for finding weaknesses and exploiting them with surgical precision. "Hey, Trevor," he'd call out across the cafeteria. "Still wearing your dad's hand-me-downs? Oh, wait, you don't have one." The laughter that followed always felt like tiny needles under my skin. I'd pretend it didn't bother me, but inside, each comment was another brick in the wall I was building around myself. My mom worked 2 jobs to keep our lights on after Dad left. We weren't poor, but we weren't comfortable either. Ethan, with his designer clothes and new car on his 16th birthday, seemed to exist in another universe entirely. Things came to a head during junior year when our English teacher assigned partner projects. The universe, with its cruel sense of humor, paired me with Ethan. "I'm not working with him," Ethan protested loudly. "He'll probably just mess it up." Ms. Jenkins was unmoved. "This assignment is worth 30% of your grade. Figure it out." We reluctantly exchanged numbers, and I prepared myself for doing the entire project alone. 3 days later, I received a text from Ethan. "My house, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Don't be late." I almost didn't go, but failing English wasn't an option if I wanted any shot at a college scholarship. His house was exactly what I expected. Massive, with a circular driveway and perfectly manicured lawn. What I didn't expect was the shouting I heard when his mother answered the door. "He's upstairs," she said, her words slightly slurred, eyes not quite focusing on me. "Second door on the right." As I climbed the stairs, I could hear Ethan's father's voice booming through the walls. "You think colleges will accept these grades? You're a disappointment, just like your mother." When I knocked on Ethan's door, the yelling stopped abruptly. Footsteps stormed past, and a man in an expensive suit brushed by me without acknowledgement. Ethan's room was spotless, almost sterile. He sat at his desk, jaw tight, knuckles white around a pen. "Let's just get this over with," he muttered. We worked in silence for an hour before I noticed the bruise peeking out from under his sleeve when he reached for a book. "What happened to your arm?" I asked before I could stop myself. His eyes flashed with something. Anger, fear, I couldn't tell. "None of your business," but something had shifted. In that moment, I saw beyond the bully to the boy beneath. Over the next few weeks as we worked on our project, I began to understand. The perfect house was a prison. The designer clothes were compensation. The cruelty was learned behavior. One afternoon, after a particularly bad fight at his house that I pretended not to hear, Ethan looked at me and said, "Why don't you ever fight back?" I thought about it for a moment. "Because I know what it's like to be angry all the time. It's exhausting." He didn't respond, but the next day at school, when his usual crew started in on me, Ethan walked away. He didn't defend me. That would have been too much to expect, but he stopped participating. We never became friends. But the day we turned in our project, he handed me a coffee and said, "Sorry for everything."